Listen to part of a talk in a psychology class.
Okay, tonight we're going to be talking about the sleep cycle. I know it might sound like a pretty straightforward, boring subject, but, well, some people find it pretty fascinating, and there's still so much that we don't even know about it. I'm betting that everyone here has heard the term sleep cycle before, but did you ever think about what's meant by the word cycle?
The word cycle refers to the stages of sleep. I think there are 5 of them. Anyway, we cycle through them, going from one stage to the next. It's a repeated sequence. That's why we call it a sleep cycle.
Yes, that's a good explanation. And you're right about the number of sleep stages. There are 5. Let's spend some time going over the 5 stages and describing what's going on with your body during each stage. Would anyone be willing to describe how they feel when they're falling asleep? I'd like to hear your thoughts about the initial stage of sleep, a phase that's called stage 1.
Well, okay. When I'm falling asleep, I usually have these really weird dreams, often about images from my day. But they aren't like the dreams I have in the middle of the night. It's kind of like I'm daydreaming, sort of asleep, but also sort of awake. And if someone wakes me up, I usually feel like I haven't been asleep.
Great. These are all behaviors typically associated with stage 1 of the sleep cycle. We drift between sleep and consciousness.
Sometimes when I'm falling asleep, I have this strange sensation. It's like I'm physically falling. My muscles contract, and I wake up suddenly.
Yes, that happens to some people in stage 1. That muscle contraction you mentioned, it's called hypnic myoclonus. Okay, so we've covered the basics of stage 1. During this time, your muscle activity slows down and your eyes move slowly. Stage 1 lasts from maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then you move into stage 2. You probably could have guessed this, but stage 2 is a deeper state of sleep than stage 1. Your heart rate slows down, you breathe more slowly, your eyes stop moving. Stage 2 is actually the sleep phase you spend the most time in. Stage 2 is a time of preparation while your body gets ready to go into deep sleep. So stages 3 and 4 are phases of deep sleep. Your brain waves are very slow. These slow brain waves are called delta waves. And that's why stages 3 and 4 are called delta sleep. These 2 stages are quite similar. Stage 4 is simply a deeper sleep than the previous stage. In deep sleep, there's no eye movement and your muscles don't move at all either. If someone wakes you up while you're in deep sleep, you'll probably feel dazed and quite disoriented for a few moments. Actually, sometimes when we're briefly woken during deep sleep, we'll forget that we were ever awake. It's a kind of amnesia related to sleep. So you go through these 4 stages of sleep, and each stage lasts between 5 and 15 minutes. You go through these 4 stages, and then you typically start to go backwards through the sleep cycle. So you've been through stages 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you go back to stage 3, then 2, and then something different happens. You enter the 5th stage of sleep. It's the stage called REM. This stage is named for the rapid eye movement that people experience. Your eyes flit back and forth, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure rises, and your breathing becomes faster and more irregular. This is the stage when you experience intense dreaming. In REM sleep, our muscles are actually paralyzed, which we think is to prevent us from actually acting out the things in our dreams. As we discussed earlier, sleep occurs in cycles, and we count the end of the first cycle when the first REM stage ends. Altogether, the first cycle generally lasts about 100 minutes. During every cycle after the first one, the amount of time you spend in REM sleep gets longer. In an average night, you might experience about 5 sleep cycles. The thing that I find really amazing is that even though it's such a basic part of life, we don't actually know why we sleep. There are a couple of theories that it helps us conserve energy, that it has some purpose in helping our intellectual ability, that it plays some role in body temperature regulation, that it helps our mental health, we still don't know the function of sleep.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. Number 29. What aspect of sleep does the professor mainly discuss? Number 30. How does the professor introduce the first stage of the sleep cycle? Number 31. According to the professor, what is hypnic myoclonia? Number 32. Which of the following is not mentioned as a theory about the purpose of sleep? Listen again to part of the lecture. Then answer the question.
I'm betting that everyone here has heard the term sleep cycle before, but did you ever think about what's meant by the word cycle?
Number 33. Why does the professor say this?
Did you ever think about what's meant by the word cycle?
Listen again to part of the lecture. Then answer the question.
Stage 1 lasts from maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then you move into Stage 2. You probably could have guessed this, but Stage 2 is a deeper state of sleep than Stage 1.
Number 34. What does the professor mean when she says this?
You probably could have guessed this, but Stage 2 is a deeper state of sleep than Stage 1.